So in today's video, we're going to get into the concept of deliberate practice. So that's going to cover firstly what it is, and then secondly, we're going to look at how we can use deliberate practice to transform your guitar practice into a process that's going to allow you to get consistent progress and results, as well as making the practice time that you're spending far more enjoyable. Now, don't forget to check out the free PDF attachment in the description that will have more info on today's content, as well as show you strategies and how you can start using deliberate practice with your own sessions. Now, the concept of deliberate practice was first brought to the public attention back in 1993 when it was initially published in an academic article led by cognitive psychologist Anders Ericsson. Now, if we're going to leave the academic terminology aside, I think a good layman description of the concept would be, firstly, we need to define and get clear on what our larger overall goals are that we're trying to achieve. Secondly, we need to identify the smaller parts that need developing and the barriers that we need to work on. And then thirdly, we need to deliberately practice and develop these smaller components until the larger goal is achieved. So straight away, the obvious benefit here is that firstly, this eliminates any unnecessary complexity from the practice process. And this allows us to both narrow our attention and focus purely on what skills or what music we're trying to learn and develop. Furthermore, as a direct result of this, we're getting far more quality repetitions and obvious skill development with the practice session, which overall makes it far more enjoyable. And I guess you could say two telltale signs that you're using the deliberate practice concept properly is that firstly, you're achieving consistent progress in what you're working on, even though it might be small, but it's consistent. Secondly, as a result of this, the practice process feels far more enjoyable and meaningful. So now we've identified what the deliberate practice concept is. The next point we need to talk about is how you can start using it and implementing it into your session and start reaping the benefits. Now, the first step to this, I'd recommend you get really clear and take the larger goal that you've identified and break that down into steps that can be achieved within a window of 1 to 3 days. So what this is about is identifying the barriers to our current goals that are in the way and looking at how we can break those down into smaller micro goals of 1 to 3 days that when combined is going to move us towards our larger goal. Now, if it's taken you longer than 1 to 3 days to achieve these little micro goals that you're working on, then what you're focusing on is far too large or complex. So the two levers you can use to fit something into this window is you can either reduce the length or the tempo of what you're working on until that goal fits into the window. Then all you need to do is, once the goal is achieved, is simply adjust it, set a new one, and run the process again and again as you incrementally make steps towards the larger goal. If you're having trouble to identify these little micro goals or chunks to focus on, then obviously an instructor is a great sounding board you can use, or if you've got some fellow musicians you can talk to as well. Now, for the next step, after we've identified the smaller chunks to purposely develop, we then need to make sure that we're applying our full attention to the practice process to receive the necessary feedback to build our skills. If you're working with a teacher, then you should be getting live and direct feedback in the moment of what you need to play the part correctly and develop the skill. If not, then you need to be using and developing your own self-awareness by paying full attention to what you're doing in the moment. This way, along with developing the skill sets, you're going to be building a deeper technical understanding of what you're working on the guitar, which is only going to allow you to troubleshoot far easier and faster into the future. A quick side note here, using a practice log is a fantastic idea to your practice process that allows you to record feedback, tempos, and just overall manage the practice process with far less brain power. So I've got a video I've done on this previously. I'll put the link in the description for you to learn more about using practice logs. Now, I bet you're probably thinking, what's the best way to actually structure deliberate practice into your overall sessions to start getting the results, or how long you need to be focusing on these individual chunks within your sessions? Now, there's a ton of differing information research that's been done into the attention span of human beings, particularly when it comes to learning. Through my direct experience over the years, I sort of lean into the camp, or find it works well for me, that a 15-minute block of really focused practice, followed by a few minutes of assessing for feedback's sake. So 15 on, a few minutes off, and then repeat those little micro blocks of say 15 to 20 minutes for a group of 90 minutes and then have a break, and then you can run the process again. In addition to this, another thing I use that allows me to really dive in and focus my full attention on the process is actually setting a timer for 15 minutes. This way I don't need to be thinking about how long I've been doing something or creating any extra unnecessary distractions. I can just fully put my complete attention on what I'm doing. Now, if 15 minutes is too long for you, you could start out by using say 5 or 10 minutes to see how that feels for you. The key point here is these micro goals, once they're set appropriately and you're fully focused and aware, these short blocks will pass like nothing, especially once you hit flow state. Now, the last point that ties everything together is staying consistent with your practice. So if you're doing all the pre-mentioned ideas and doing it 4 to 6 times per week, you'll be well on your way to achieving great results with your practice process. So don't forget to check out the free PDF attachment from today's video. Links are in the description. That's going to show you how you can start implementing deliberate practice into your practice process. Also, make sure you leave a comment, subscribe to not miss out on any future content, and check out the HPM Guitar Fundamentals program if you're looking to master the fundamental skill sets of contemporary guitar. If you have any questions, drop those in the comments. My name is Ryan Wyatt. I look forward to seeing you all in future videos.